So it's entirely possible to work in a black and white image like this one, where you are in still full color mode in Photoshop. But in this particular case, we're not. And there's a couple hints on screen. The first and the most obvious and really the most definitive is that right here, it shows the word gray. And what that means is that Photoshop is currently in grayscale mode. And I'll show you how this will sneak up on you. Is that sometimes you'll go to choose a color by double clicking here on the color picker, and I'm going to choose red, and you can follow along with me or not, it doesn't really matter. But when I click OK, look, it's not red. I selected red, but red doesn't show up. If you ever find yourself in that situation, there's a really easy fix. The bottom line is we're just in the wrong image mode. This is kind of a technical issue, so I don't want to get too deep into all of this, but basically, think about it almost like a dimension. So right now, it's in one dimension, black to white. What we need to do is to tell Photoshop, look at this image in 3 dimensions, red, green, and blue. So instead of looking at each dot and just saying, how light or dark is it, it's gonna look at each dot that makes up the image, and it's gonna say how much red is in this, how much green is in this, and how much blue is in this. And when it starts looking at it that way, it's called changing the mode. And that's what we need to do to allow color. So what we do now is we just go to Image, Mode, and choose RGB Color. Now, RGB is an important mode to know about because RGB is sort of Photoshop's native language. As a matter of fact, even here in our menu, we can see that there are some things that aren't showing. If we go into Adjustments, look at this whole section that doesn't show. These tools are not available because we are in the wrong mode. So if you downloaded a different image or in the future you're working on a document and you see that a lot of the options in the menus are grayed out, one of the first things to check is going to be your mode. And what you want to do is change it to RGB, and then boom, all of a sudden, nothing happened on screen, but look, our menu opened up, we see red over here in our color picker, everything just changed. Without a whole lot of fanfare, we just opened a whole world of awesome possibilities. And so what we want to do now is start adding some color to this image so that it looks like a color photo. It's a really cool trick. It's fairly time consuming, so we're going to break it down into 3 different levels, and we're going to talk about that really quick after I show you the ropes about this particular skill. But keep in mind that whenever you're in Photoshop and you have menu options that aren't available, you can't choose colors, the first thing to check is your mode. Image, mode, and RGB is generally the color space that we want to be working in.